32, Illini Basketball Podcast. I'm not looking into the camera, just to let you know on the YouTube version. There will be a YouTube version of this. I don't know if it's going to be clipped or if it's going to be like the full version because, you know, the whole monetization.
We figured our voices weren't enough, so you need to see our faces.
Well, if you know, we got to reach our audience in a different way.
Right.
And the season's, and the season's about to start. So I figured we'd do that. But let me just say this a few times, a few things to say. Number one, Twitter, @PodcastLine. You can follow us there. The tweets are going to be so legit that you're going to be like, I need to put notifications on. So that's a thing. YouTube.
You've been tweeting more. I'm proud of you.
Well, you know, I'm getting scoops before Rothstein. It's a whole big thing. 6 minutes, by the way. I got that before him, but it was a guess, I think. Or was it? You'll never know.
Process of elimination, maybe?
Well, I didn't. Yeah, I'm not going to take the time. It
looks like we knew before Rothstein. That's all I know.
We did. I think we did. YouTube, you can look up Illini Basketball Podcast. We're going to have videos there, some live streams there just for fun. I'm sure no one's actually going to come watch those because they don't know who we are, but we're going to test the waters on that one.
They're going to be on there for you in case you want.
They are going to be on there. And Facebook. We have a Facebook, facebook.com/Illini Basketball Podcast. We got like 69 likes last time I looked, which is a very nice thing to do. 74 followers. So why do people follow a Facebook page but not like the page? Like there's 5 people who have followed but not like. What are we doing? First of all, why does Facebook have both?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Are you going to talk Illini basketball or what?
In a second. We've had a lot of changes. A new logo as well.
New logo.
Very sharp. Very sharp.
Ethan had designed that himself.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Kinda.
If you look at the templatable options and you go with it. But all right, let's do this. I know you're mad about Bryce Hopkins, and we'll hop into that. He chose Kentucky, which I think we all knew was going to happen.
Obviously, what I have written down is obviously he chooses Kentucky because this was done before he even made a decision. Something to do with Mo Khan, his AAU team gets paid by Kentucky. I don't really know how these things work. But yeah, see you later. Bryce Hopkins isn't coming. So Illinois still only has one recruit for the class of 2021. The word on the streets is Luke Goody will be signing officially with the Illini Monday, November 16th. So we will have one guy on the books officially, which is better than not having anybody, I guess.
He's all we got.
So,
He's all we got.
It's all we got. But there are some offers that got made to some guys in the class of 2021. One guy he's getting a lot of offers lately is Mustafa Amzil. He's 6'10", 215-pound, small forward, 3-star from First Love Academy in Washington, PA. Don't believe that's where he's originally from, but they say that he's one of the hottest recruits, according to Jake Lieberman. At Jake Lieberman 2, I believe the kid is a sophomore in high school, and he apparently knows his stuff. But that's what he's been saying. Right now, he has 11 offers. Some of those include Dayton, DePaul, Georgia Tech, Maryland, Florida, Indiana, K-State, and he does have offers from Kansas, Kentucky, and North Carolina. So pretty big schools that he is getting looks from. He had a Zoom call with the Illini the other day. Ryan Evan tweeted out that Mustafa said in the meeting, a quote, was a great meeting, Coach Underwood and the whole staff. Also, a fun fact, Chin Coleman played pro ball in his hometown. So
sure, that's going to really, whoo.
That maybe watched him growing up. I don't know. I'm guessing that Chin Coleman played way before this guy was born. But
yeah.
Illinois also offered RJ Ramses Melendez. He's a 6'7", 195-pound small forward, 3-star from Central Point Christian in Kissimmee, Florida. He has 19 other offers. Some of those these names just sound the same all the time, I guess. DePaul, Dayton, Florida, Georgia, Iowa State, Villanova, LSU, and Nebraska are a few of them. And there is word that he might have played with Curbelo in the under-17 Puerto Rico team. So maybe some connections there. Illinois did hold a Zoom call with Mac Etienne. I know Ethan doesn't think we're going to get him because we keep talking about him, but Illinois is staying in contact with
He's
him.
not coming.
And then Ty Washington,
He might.
who I think everybody wants now, just because his name's so cool. He's visiting the Illinois campus today, actually, for a self-guided visit. The Illini have been pushing very hard for him now. He is a top 25 guard, and Ty said that the Illini have been super active in his recruiting. So
they're desperate
for him.
They're desperate.
They need somebody. I don't think they need guards, but you know what? More guards, I guess, is okay.
Who from this team is actually going to be there next year that's a guard other than Curbelo? No one.
True.
Miller's gone. See ya. One and done.
I think Miller's one done.
Yeah.
What if he doesn't? What if we don't have a season?
We're going to have a season.
Okay. All right.
0% chance we don't now. That being said, we'll get into this later, but it's quite a mess right now. So there, gives us content. Who's Isaac McNeely?
Isaac McNeely is a class of 22.
Too many guys.
6'4". I didn't even put them all on there because I knew you'd say something like that. 6'4", 175-pound shooting guard. He's a 4-star from Poca, West Virginia, and he's 94 nationally. He has 19 offers, including Virginia, West Virginia, Cincinnati, Creighton, Indiana, Iowa, K-State, Louisville, Maryland, Ohio State, and I have Louisville on there again, so they must have offered him twice. But and then, man, I really didn't update this very well. Futurecast has 3 guys saying that he's going to go to Virginia. He actually does not have an offer from Virginia yet, but it's his top school that he wants to go to. So there are comparisons to Tyler Hero, which we all know how well he's playing right now in the NBA. Well, not right now, but did.
Yeah. Is every recruit a guard?
Right now?
Every single recruit that we've ever talked about, other than this Mustafa fellow, is a guard.
Or I mean, is there really anything other than guards and centers these days? I mean, all big guys can handle the ball. Bryce Hopkins was a power forward, but anywho,
I don't know.
I just threw this kid in here. Class of 25, Markel Austin. I believe that makes him an 8th grader this year. He's a 6'1" point guard for the New York Gauchos, and he's already drawing comparisons to Kemba Walker.
He's going to be too tall by the time he gets to college to be like Kemba Walker.
Yeah, but so anyways, I just want to throw him out there because, throwing offers out at kids at that age just mind boggles me. But
well, I think he's going to be more like LeBron when he comes to Illinois in 2025. And
can't wait.
I think there will be a point where we get, you can go to the NBA at high school again. I think that's coming.
True.
It basically already is if you look at
Kinda
some of
with
the top.
G League,
yeah.
Right?
Which is so annoying. I mean, who cares about the G League? I'd rather play college basketball, but I guess there's the whole money thing. So already some great news after the first practice. I mean, what a start. This is a good sign for the season.
I think the first practice was 3 days after our last podcast.
The 14th or the 15th or something like that.
When was our last podcast? The 12th? So we're coming more consistent, guys. We're getting back to the season. But
I think our last podcast was October 2nd. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Austin Hutcherson and or my boy Bosman Verdonk are supposedly hurt somewhat. Hutcherson's been having some back issues, and Benjamin Bosman Verdonk is having a flare up on his foot that he injured last year. So hopefully they get that stuff figured out, and we'll be fully healthy. I think they're going to need everybody this year.
They are, yeah.
Especially with the way that the Big Ten is going to do things. So we'll talk about that later.
What a great conference. I mean, I'm so happy that Illinois is in the Big Ten.
Yeah. Underwood said after the first practice, our guys are excited. Guys are bouncing off the walls. Now we can start stringing some stuff together. Feels good to be back doing what we all love. Io, they say, is up to 206 pounds. He came in as a freshman at 170. So Underwood talked about maybe posting him up more, maybe doing that
Oh boy.
MJ Kobe fadeaway. We'll see how that works out. I don't know if that's Io's game, but maybe
Well,
working on that more.
let me give a quick warning to the Big Ten. You better watch the hell out. Io DeSumo is going to dominate this conference. He's going to make Luca Garza look like me on the court. Okay, so there you go. There's your free early warning.
Which is not very good, right?
Well, elite shooting ability, but after that, he can't really do anything else.
Yeah. Coleman Hawkins I think this is great news because he's really a recruit that I feel people have talked about him, but definitely not in the aspect of Miller and Curbelo. Underwood said that he is an elite shooter, great ball handler, and an elite passer with good IQ and instincts, and said that he sees that he could see more court time earlier, which is great news to have another freshman that is going to get to see, from what it seems like, quite a bit of time, and said that he is a great stretch 4 and could possibly see him moving into the 3 spot. So Underwood said that the group of freshmen he has are way ahead of any of the other freshman classes he's ever had. So a lot of good things out of the first interview from Underwood after practices. So it's good to see, good to hear the freshmen are doing well. So
that appears to be encouraging, and I have seen some stuff about how Coleman Hawkins is going to be a big key guy for them off the bench, and especially if we're going to see injuries from Bosmans Verdonk, who's a bust. I mean, let's be honest. You had way too high expectations for him. Maybe he'll be healthy. We don't know at this point. And then who was the other guy that was Hutcherson, right? Is he a guard? We both mix Hutcherson and Granders. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, I think they're both 3s. Technically,
I think Hutcherson's the one from New York, right? That
he's supposed to be the most athletic one.
Yeah. Well, he better stay healthy.
And so hopefully he is feeling better. Haven't really heard anything more than what they said with the back issues when they started out practices. So that was how many days ago? So
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago. So hopefully he's better now. We'll let you know the more we find out. So, like I said, these should be starting. These podcasts should be starting to come sooner, without as much gap in between.
A lot less of that.
So,
yeah.
Georgie, our boy Georgie Bishanishvili was on the drive with Lonte and Derek Piper, and they asked him what Underwood's message to the team was with all the preseason hype. And can you go ahead and read that quote Georgie said?
You want me to read this?
I do.
Why, do you want me to cuss or something?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, he said we haven't done shit yet, which That's what he is said. True.
And I don't know if you saw the video. They shared it on Twitter. They kind of freaked out, like, what should we do? Do we let it go? Do we bleep it? They let it go. So
I don't see why not. I mean,
I love it. They asked Georgie how he's feeling about going into his junior season, and Georgie said that my confidence is at its highest it's ever been right now. I've been working, man, every single day, dribbling, passing, shooting. On my mental side, it's all good right now. Sounds great. I hope that, Georgie's game's back to where we saw as a freshman what he could do last year. Kind of had a little down year, so I'm hoping good things for Georgie. And then he was kind of stuck in Champaign during all this lockdown pandemic stuff. And he started taking up woodworking. And they kind of asked him about that. Georgie said that it's been amazing. I'm kind of keeping it a secret. I have a lot of stuff and products coming. So I don't know if it's stuff we're going to be able to buy.
Okay.
Said that he didn't want to say anything yet. But once you see what I got, you guys are going to want to call me for another interview just for that. I think maybe we'll try to get Georgie once he starts announcing before Lonte and Derek Piper.
I don't see that happening. I have to be honest.
Okay, I thought I'd try for the fans. I hadn't seen
we have tried a lot of things recently to get certain people on, and it has not worked. No. So there you go.
No.
And I'm looking at you, Coach Underwood. Thank you. All right. What are we on next? Preseason All-Americans, yes.
Yeah.
CBS Sports announcing the 5 first. Is this official or just like their analysts?
I think it's official.
Okay.
I think this is the officialness.
Okay, so Jared Butler, Baylor. I'm assuming he's like a junior or senior now because I remember he's been there. Io DeSumo is on there, so he's the other guard. Cade Cunningham, Oklahoma State, I believe, is the #1 recruit this year going to Oklahoma State. Why would you go to Oklahoma State? Whatever. Yeah, actually, you know what? It is nice to see a mix-up every once in a while. The #1 recruit not going to Duke or Kentucky. That being said, why did James Wiseman go to Memphis? Seriously, Memphis sucks. Corey Kispert, Gonzaga. Gonzaga is going to be very good this year. Very good once again. Probably better than last year. And Luka Garza, everyone loves him. I don't know how we're at a point. Luka Garza is a good player, very good player. Second best player in the Big Ten behind Io DeSumo. Thank you. Not biased at all.
Might be third behind Io and
okay, that's a little much for
me.
A
little too much? Okay.
Yeah, so John Rothstein says this of Io, and obviously Rothstein is one of the best because everyone else in that space is a lunatic as far as I'm concerned. That was
you just hating on Rothstein before we started this?
I'm allowed to criticize every once in a while.
I just want to make sure. I want the fans to know that Ethan does hold disdain against him sometimes.
Despite not knowing me, Rothstein and I are on good terms. We're cool. He said there's not a more complete guard in the sport. If there was an NCAA tournament last March, DeSumo was set to be one of the event's breakout stars, and I think that goes without saying. That's obvious in terms of that. And more Rothstein here, and you spelled his name wrong this time. There's not an H in the first name, but whatever, we'll let it slide. He names DeMonte as a top 10 glue guy to watch. Now, I didn't see Rothstein's glue guy piece from last year. I know Seth Davis, who really for me, Seth Davis is 50-50. Sometimes he's a hack, sometimes he's not. That's fair, right? He had Andres Feliz as one of the top glue guys last year. Seth Davis did. I don't know if Rothstein had him in his, if he even does that. But it sounds like Andres Feliz got some interest after the TBT from some NBA teams, which, I mean, that sounds about right.
He played well. I mean, he was one of the leading scorers. Underwood said they had a few calls from some NBA teams. Along with this glue guy thing, I feel like Frazier probably could have been in the top 10 of that. I feel like he's going to be a big impact into keeping this team together. Both those seniors are going to play a huge role in keeping this very talented team together and working as one, which I feel like they'll be okay doing. But you get a lot of good players playing on one team. You just kind of hope that they still share and are nice to each other.
NBA teams have to figure that out too.
Yes.
Except they are paid millions and college players are not.
Correct.
Kyle Boone, who I believe is CBS. I'm not 100% sure. I've never heard of him, let's be honest. He's more famous than we are, though, so whatever. He predicts Illinois #1 in the Big Ten and Underwood coach of the year. I think he's listened to this trying to get on our good side or something, but I have something to say about what he says at the end here. Let's read this. Here's what he says about the Illini. There's a lot to like about the Illini. The return of DeSumo, Coburn, and Frazier, the addition of Chicago native and top 40 national recruit Adam Miller. By and large, the bones of a team that won 21 games and finished with 5 wins in its last 6 games returns in 2020, establishing them as our preseason pick to win the league. Illinois might not quite have the star power to match Iowa and Luka Garza, but his roster's deep experience and talented.
That really upset you.
The star power?
Yeah.
You're telling me that Luka Garza is a big enough star that Io DeSumo next to Kofi Coburn? Does Luka,
and
Jordan
Adam Miller.
Yeah, Jordan Bohannon is a fine guard, a good shooter. He's not Io DeSumo. Kofi Coburn's not as good as Garza, but he's close enough to where you put them together, the star power is there. Trent Frazier's been a great player senior year. They have guys like that too. Fran McCaffrey, his son, or whatever the hell his name is, whoever that kid is, a fine player, whatever. Wieskamp is good on both ends, great. Star power? You're telling me you look at Iowa and they jump off the page as star power at you. Yeah. Really? Okay. Interesting. That's just a weird way to word that. I don't appreciate that, Kyle Boone.
He still predicted Illinois was going to beat him out.
That's great, but what the hell is that line at the end? That seems so pointless to me. I mean, star power. I look at Iowa and I say, very good team, a top 10 team in the country, but I don't look at them like they have all these stars. Like Kentucky has a lot of stars because they're a freshman team. Illinois and Iowa both have a star player, and I'd say the second best player on those teams, Joe Wieskamp, is not as big of a star in national terms as Kofi Coburn is. I mean, seriously.
I'm close.
Nobody looks at Joe Wieskamp and says, oh, man, stud, top 20 player in the country. He's not that. So Kyle Boone with some weird wording there, and I'm sure he couldn't care less what we have to say or what I have to say.
Probably never going to know that you said that. But
unless I tag him like 20 times every day in a tweet, which, All right, another part of the NCAA's mess, and they're really just knocking out of the park. What a great job they're doing, said nobody. Orlando cancels all the tournaments. I think this is ESPN's fault, though, isn't it?
I think it was partly ESPN. I think it was partly Orlando.
I know Florida's a free for all right now, but why did they have to schedule every game there?
Planned too many, right? I mean, that's kind of, and so they said, let's not do this. And the reason why this stinks, I don't even know if you mentioned it, but we've talked about it, but Illinois was likely going to play Baylor in the Jimmy V Classic down there. There is reports, however, that the Jimmy V Classic and the Champions Classic may be moved to Indianapolis, which I believe Indianapolis is pretty open right now. I know it's not Florida open.
It's not Illinois closed. We'll just go with that.
True. So, So there's still hope that we get to see that matchup. With Illinois with their scheduling, they need to find 3 or 4 more games, maybe
non-conference. They do.
So hopefully that game still happens. I mean, Illinois Baylor would be amazing, and then followed that by just got announced Illinois Duke is going to be Tuesday, December 8th. So we talked about it earlier about how, we were on top of that before Rothstein.
Yes, we were. 6 minutes. Look it up. He said it at 4:23. We said it at 4:17. We got him. And we also mentioned it because I think Andy Katz predicted that would happen. That was luck, let's be honest. Like a month ago. But I have inside people, trust me.
We got all the inside knowledge for you guys. But, Illinois at Duke should be an amazing matchup.
Big test.
And it'll be interesting because, Duke has pretty big advantage when you go to Cameron Indoor. But without fans, things like that, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what that even looks like down there because those students, they never sit down. They are rowdy. So not having fans in college basketball, I think, is going to be huge this year as far as home court advantage, things like that. So.
Stephen F. Austin went in there and beat them last year.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. But I think Duke will actually show up in a game against Illinois because Illinois is a formidable, good team this year. Weird to say. But let me just – so if they have the Jimmy V Classic in Indianapolis, I wonder if they keep the same date that was rumored. So you're looking at December 2nd, which is a Wednesday. Then you probably play a weekend game maybe or not. And then December 8th, a Tuesday, you play Duke. So you're going to be playing 2 top 10 teams within a week. Those will be big. You got to get at least one of those. Who knows if they can take care of this multi-team event. If that happens, that was supposed to be November 25th through the 27th. The teams will be Wright State, Ohio, and North Carolina A&T. Friday's game will move to Saturday if the Illinois-Ohio State football game gets flexed to Friday. This should be 3 wins. But as you look into the teams, Wright State won the Horizon last year. How about that? Hell of a conference there. They lost to University of Illinois Chicago, where D. Brown is an assistant coach. I think still there, and he obviously doesn't want anything to do with us.
Promotion.
Well, we would know about that because we would have talked about it if he would have accepted our invite on the podcast, but he didn't.
Still out there, D. If you
whenever he wants,
whenever you want to come by.
We won't hold it against him only because he's an Illini legend. Now we might hold it against Underwood until he wins us something. So just saying. So Ohio is another team. Ohio is probably the team that actually has a chance to keep it close with Illinois. They did lose key players, but they are better than Wright State and North Carolina A&T when you look at it. They're ranked number 4 in the MAC preview that I saw. Bowling Green and Buffalo are the teams ahead of them. And then the other team is, of course, our guy John Gross's Akron Zips. 6 squad in Akron. Why can't we play Akron?
I'm surprised. It would have been nice if they would have got Akron instead of Ohio. But.
They would have played Akron. It would have been 160-30.
John Gross doesn't want to come back. That's right.
Yeah, he's weak. North Carolina A&T is a team that Illinois played on December 29th. Beat them 95-64. So shouldn't have any issues with that game. But this is a nice little, warm you up for this season. Then the schedule really starts because, a week later, you're playing Baylor, then you're playing Duke, likely.
Baylor, Duke happens. Illinois kind of had a very weak non-conference schedule the last 3 years, I'd say.
They've pretty much had one key matchup each year.
So it's nice to be able that Illinois even has the opportunity to get these matchups, and hopefully it will continue into the future past this season. We all know why they got it this year, but hopefully Illinois can keep that going.
Well, also, so they have the 3 multi-team event games that should happen, hopefully. They haven't even announced that officially yet, which is confusing, but probably because their conference is run by complete morons. Officially?
I mean,
Duke, that's it.
Duke. And other than that, and I'm sure that has nothing to do with them. I'm sure that's already scheduled through ESPN or whatever.
Got to make sure that they schedule the Big Ten ACC Challenge for everything else. Oh, man, it's so important. I don't buy that. So you got those 3 games, and then you have Baylor. I still think the Jimmy V Classic game happens. I do think that happens. That's going to be a highly viewed game. People are going to want to see Illinois, show them up, that kind of thing. So that's 5 games, and then you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how to do math. Probably 2 more non-conference games, and then you play 20 conference games, and you end up with 27 games. I think is how it'll probably go. Yep. But I'm confused in terms of why does the Big 12 have their conference schedule figured out and the Big 10 can't figure it out? It doesn't seem that hard. I mean, it's harder than usual, but...
Is the Big 12 the only conference that has one figured out?
Well, I know that Kansas tweeted their conference schedule and almost their entire schedule. They almost had the whole thing on their Twitter post I saw.
Yeah.
And I told the Big 10 to get their head out of their ass.
I sent you that thing about somebody was asking schedulers. I think it was Goodman. Ask schedulers their thoughts, and it was pretty much it's just been a mess trying to schedule anything.
They've had months upon months.
A lot of people hoping that a season even happens.
It's gonna happen
with all the work that they've put in. I mean, they would be very upset if it didn't happen after all this.
Well, considering the leadership you're dealing with, there is a chance that I guess it doesn't happen, but I'd be surprised because I think they have to get a season in. And, college basketball can't survive 2 years in a row without a tournament.
Right.
So they got to do something, and they know that. But I think we will get a schedule in the next 15 days. So I think after we have the schedule, then we'll do our preview podcast. But let's talk about how much the Big Ten sucks. I think that's a fair thing to do. This conference is a joke. Kevin Warren, it's been a rough year for him, especially with football and stuff. Oh my God. He's had a rough. I mean, what the hell is the 21-day quarantine rule? Please, someone explain me the point of that. Nobody else is doing it.
Get it.
Nobody else. And
it's one thing to do it in football where you miss 2 games or whatever it'd be. In basketball, you're going to miss 5-6 games in 21 at least. I mean, that's an underestimation. Probably you're probably going to miss more than that.
They have to change this. They have to. I mean, there's no way we can go into a basketball season. You test positive, you're out for 21 days. It's ridiculous. It should be 10 or 14. The experts usually say 14 or 10, right? Okay, that's great. What the hell are we doing? 21 days. Why am I surprised, I guess I should say. This conference sucks. I mean, seriously, it makes no sense. Everyone says listen to these scientists and the experts. This seems like the opposite of that. Oh, we got to be as cautious as possible. 21 days. They got to have better rules than that.
Right.
They got to come up with better protocols.
When the experts at the CDC or whatever are saying 14 days.
I think some are saying 10.
They think 21.
It's so stupid.
Yeah. I don't know how it works. I mean, I've heard from friends that, if you test negative, you have to quarantine longer than people that actually test positive. It's weird.
So why can't they just do like you test positive? Are they doing, how much testing are they actually doing? Basketball.
I don't know. I don't know where they're at with that. They haven't really talked about it yet, but I would assume that they're going to have to do a test before every game,
Yeah.
I don't see how you could test once a week. A team plays 3 teams and then you got 4 teams quarantined out of that. So I would assume, I know that Illinois has their rapid saliva test on campus. And I believe that you get those results like within a day, if not quicker. So I'm sure that's what Illinois is going to use. It'll be interesting. It's all going to be interesting.
I hope they can figure it out before the next podcast, because I don't want to go into a season. I mean, I want to have the season, but I don't want to go into a season where it's 21 days. I mean, that's so stupid. It makes no sense to me. I don't think it makes sense to very many people. We ran a poll, okay? 9 people voted. We ran a poll. 72% said yes, that it's ridiculous, that it's 21 days. 28%, a bunch of idiots saying no. I mean, seriously.
28% is that one person?
1 or 2 people. How do you do that? Seriously.
Yeah, so I know. It seems extreme. But.
Well, you look at football. Trevor Lawrence tests positive. 10 days, he's going to be quarantined or whatever. You got to produce a certain amount of negative tests. Then Graham Mertz, the quarterback for Wisconsin, gets it 21 days. I mean, seriously.
That's it.
11-day difference. 11.
I think they announced today a bunch of Illinois players tested positive. So.
That's why I asked Joey about it in the interview that we're going to have at the end. I had to get that in there real quick. And then I went silent for 20 minutes. But hey, that's how the business is.
He didn't sound like it was going to affect anything. So who knows?
Well, I don't care either way if I'm robbed of Illinois football because it's unwatchable.
Wow.
And it is. It's very, very unwatchable. I'd rather watch just about anybody in the. I think I enjoyed watching who was playing all the games at the beginning of the season before anyone started that we've seen. Like it was like Arkansas State or something.
Oh yeah.
One of those. I enjoy watching them more than Illinois because the Illinois football game, it's like first play, first down. Here we go. Next play, fumble. It's 21-0. Oh, they recover a fumble for a touchdown. 21-7. We're back. 7 seconds later, 35-7. I mean, that's just.
Yeah.
Like I said, though, I've mentioned this privately.
Figured out.
I've mentioned this privately off the air. It's impossible to have Illinois football and basketball be good in the same year. So, if the football team has to take the fall, they have to take the fall. And that's also, right. Their talent is not great. And the Big Ten football scene is different. It's run by 2 schools every year, basically. Yeah. So there you go.
But we're not a football podcast, so anyways.
I'm never talking about Illinois football again. So, all right, before we go, upcoming events. How about that? November 2nd.
How about it?
We are apparently, which is the day before the election. I'm sure everyone will be nice and
you can't say cool apparently then. When you're the one that scheduled it.
Your schedule is, all over the place, so you never know. Monday, November 2nd. We're going to do a live stream test thing, is what it says here. Taking a couple of questions, talking about the current situation in college basketball. Maybe we'll have a schedule by then. I doubt it. But that'll be on YouTube. I don't know if it's going to be on our podcast Facebook or my Facebook. It'll also be on our Twitter at Podcast Illini. You can follow. Then
tweet out the time once we get closer to it.
Yeah. Friday, November 13th.
I mean probably Sunday, right?
Yeah, probably. Which I think it'll be around 5 or 6 Central at night, whatever that may be.
Sounds good to me.
Friday the 13th, which I didn't even realize until I read that, would be the plan for the next episode, which would be previewing the season. If the schedule's out by the 13th, I don't feel great about that happening, but it might. And then Monday or Tuesday, November 23rd or 24th, one of the two, which is the 2 days before the season, the day of before the season, will be a live final preseason Q&A. We'll take your questions. I know there's going to be no questions from anybody, but we'll make them up if we have to.
Yeah.
Topics.
And if you want to put them in beforehand, that'd be great. If you want to show up for the live Q&A, show up, ask them then. But...
Or you can tweet them at us at Podcast Illini. My recording stopped, so that's good. That seems great. We're still doing the YouTube version though right now.
When did it stop?
I don't know, but I'm gonna pause.